right, make sure I got my branding going on. All right, what's up, y'all? This is Paul C. Tiarina, nutritional therapy practitioner, lifestyle and performance coach, creator of the SHT here in Las Vegas. And I want to start out by saying I am living a life of service and I am here to help. I am committed to putting out as much useful content as I possibly can. I've been at this for over a decade now. I have a lot of experience working with private clients. Hundreds of people have come through my office. Thousands of people have been through our group SHT progressions. And so we have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom, right? So if you're new to us, like, follow, subscribe, whatever that is. And if you got questions, comments, feedback, whether it's positive, constructive criticism, whatever it is, like, I thrive on that stuff because I am here to serve and I am here to help. All right. So today we have a question from a really good friend of mine, and her name is Audra. So let's just listen to that question.
Hi, I had a question about what to order at Starbucks and what is the healthiest option since I'm a Starbucks lover. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you. Bye.
All right, cool. So the question is, what do I order at Starbucks? All right. So the first answer is what's most optimal, and that is purchasing your own coffee beans and then starting them, grinding them yourself. Okay. So anybody that has any experience with coffee is a connoisseur to any degree, understands the value and the importance of fresh coffee beans. And then sourcing good quality beans, you know, like something that's organic or non-GMO project verified. I like the Rainforest Alliance. I think it's called the Rainforest Alliance certified, and the bird friendly habitat from the Smithsonian. I think those are all really good kind of certifications to look for. But in general, you want a decent level of quality, and you want to make it on your own. But we all run into situations where we need to stop at Starbucks and grab something. So let's get into what we would order there. So the only thing that I would order at Starbucks is either a black coffee, and that includes all its different varieties, whether it's just regular black coffee, the blonde, the medium roast, or the dark roast, or even the cold brew, the nitro brews, or anything made with heavy whipping cream. Okay, so that would include the flat whites and the lattes and the cappuccinos. Okay, so let me just transition over, because I had an interview with a barista there to kind of get her opinion on some of this stuff. All right, so let's transition over to that.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to order is my favorite way of ordering coffee, which is a grande coffee in a venti cup with the rest water, because I like my coffee a little bit diluted, because I'm just doing this thing where I'm trying to minimize my caffeine intake every day. All right, so can I get one of those pretty please?
Yes, of course.
All right. Now, my favorite thing to order, but I just don't order it that much because it's expensive, is a flat white made with heavy cream. So what is a flat white?
So a flat white is ristretto shots, and then you have milk to the top, but we pour it up and then pour it down, so it makes a little white top.
Okay, so it's a specific kind of shot, specific bean or something like that?
No, just the way we pour the shot.
Oh, the way the shot's poured. It's the way the shot's poured, and then topped with foamed heavy cream or steamed heavy cream or something like that, right?
Not foam, we just make sure we start the milk pouring up, and then when we pour it down, it leaves a little white dot to get that effect.
Okay, cool. So anyway, it's some shots with some heated heavy cream, and it's freaking amazing. All right. All right, another great option is a cappuccino. So a cappuccino is what?
So a cappuccino is shots at the bottom, a little milk, and then the rest is foam.
All right, so order it with heavy cream, because you can do that, right? All right, cool. And then the final thing is a latte. What is a latte?
So a latte is you get flavoring at the bottom, then our espresso shots, and then milk to the top. If you want foam or no foam, you can ask.
Okay, so the difference between a cappuccino and a latte is?
The foam.
The foam. Which one has more foam?
The cappuccino is fully foamed, just a little bit of milk, yeah.
Okay, cool. And again, order made with heavy cream. Okay, cool. So sitting here in Starbucks, and I just ordered each one of those coffees. Here I've got a grande coffee, which is like a 16 ounce in a 20 ounce cup. So I asked for a grande coffee in a 20 ounce cup and fill the rest with water. And then I asked for just a little bit of heavy cream. And it's freaking my favorite way to go. By the way, I always order blonde roast. That's the lighter roast. Tends to have more caffeine, but I just don't like strong tasting coffees. I don't like burnt coffees. All right. Now the next one we got here is gonna be the flat white. This is my favorite, and it tends to be the most expensive. All right. So again, ordered with heavy cream. It's a specific kind of shot, and it's just freaking, it's amazing. It's so freaking smooth. Oh my God, so good every time. If I'm not mistaken, these are going to cost you probably $5 or $6 or $7, maybe, depending on how big you get it. So that's the flat white. Thank you, John Nixon, for turning me on to that. Amazing. Now, then we've got the latte made with heavy cream. I don't know if this is useful seeing what it looks like, but it's great tasting, I'll tell you that. Really good. Actually tastes very similar to the flat white. Not as good, but pretty good. And then finally we've got the cappuccino. Now she was telling me when you ask for a cappuccino made with heavy cream, it doesn't foam up as much as milk. So we're still going to taste, she said, but it's still great. Yeah, they're all very similar actually, except for the coffee, right? So.
All right, so the flat white, the latte, and the cappuccino, to me, all taste really similar. The flat white definitely tastes better, but the price is a little bit different. If I'm ordering a tall of each one of those, the flat white's gonna be around $4.28 or $4.30, and then the latte and the cappuccino are $3.52, all right? So what I typically order when I go there is the tall blonde roast coffee, and I order it in a venti cup, and I fill the rest with water because I like my coffee a little bit weaker, a little bit more diluted, and then I add a little bit of heavy cream to that. But if I were going to treat myself, I would probably get a latte because I don't like a lot of that foam. But those are all very similar. They're made with shots, and then they have heavy cream, and of course the flat white's a little bit more premium and tastes awesome. So let's talk about why. If you care to stick around a little bit, let's talk about why the black coffee and the heavy cream. So first of all, in our community, the way that we do things, we're trying to train the body for self-sufficiency, all right? This means self-reliance. This means metabolic flexibility and the body's own ability to create its own energy from various energy sources, okay? So our basic rules are no carbs first part of the day, and we want to signal for that first part of the day of natural space, meaning minimal caloric input, minimal food input, and then also a signal of fat for fuel, okay? So, and then also coffee is perfect, and tea is great as well, because for the first part of the day, you know, it's okay to have caffeine. If I have caffeine a little bit later in the day, it's going to disrupt my sleep patterns because caffeine has a half-life for most people of about 6 hours. So I recommend most people stop drinking their coffee 6, 7, 8 hours before bedtime, all right? So that automatically dictates a lot of what we're going to be able to order, you know. So even if some of their approved additives were okay as far as ingredients go, they have a lot of sugar in them, so we probably wouldn't be using the sugar-based options simply because we're not training the body how to use its own fat for fuel and be self-sufficient, okay? So then the question is, why do we specifically order heavy cream versus half and half or milk? All right, so the benefits of full-fat dairy, if you tolerate it, are in the fat. All right, the fat is where it's at. So you want full-fat versions of full-fat dairy, or you want full-fat versions of dairy when you consume dairy, because that's where all the benefits are. That's where all the nutrients are. That's where the fat-soluble nutrients are. That's also where there's a lot of medium-chain triglycerides, which are easy for the body to use for energy, and it's a fat-based source of energy. Okay, so the problem with milk in its totality and with half and half, because half and half is half milk and half cream, is that milk is where all the potential problematic factors lie, right? This is where we see the most lactose, the most casein, the most whey. And when people have dairy intolerances, guaranteed they're going to have dairy intolerances with milk. And as we start to move towards the more fat-based versions of dairy, people seem to lose those intolerances, okay? So, and heavy cream is almost pure fat. There's a little bit of those factors in there. So again, if you tolerate it, then we recommend heavy cream over half and half and heavy cream over milk. And so you can specify, especially at Starbucks, I'm not sure about other coffee places, if they're a good coffee place, they're gonna have heavy cream, but you can specify all these different options made with heavy cream, all right? Now, I was able to sit down with the barista and actually look at the ingredients on all the different sweeteners and additives. So first of all, they contain a massive amount of sugar. So the little squirt that you're getting of your vanilla flavor or your almond flavor is gonna have 17 to 20 grams of sugar, which is 4 to 5 teaspoons. All right, so if I'm trying to train my body how to use my own body fat for fuel and be metabolically flexible and self-sufficient, that's way too much sugar. Okay, but also in those syrups, we have some artificial sweeteners, and then we also have some preservatives that we're not too fond of. Okay, the caramel, the squeezed caramel that you'll see some people get on their whipped cream. I mean, when you sit there and you look at what people order in Starbucks, it's like a dessert house or something, because it's like these sweet options, mocha frappuccinos topped with heavy cream and chocolate sprinkles and all this stuff. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, the caramel has corn syrup in it, which is guaranteed genetically modified, and then it also has milk solids in it, which is going to be very problematic for most people. The almond milk is almost okay. The almond milk is made with pretty minimal ingredients. It does have a decent amount of sugar. It has about a teaspoon of sugar per serving, per what they would add to it. And then it has a couple of preservatives we're not too fond of, but I've seen a lot worse, So as a secondary option, if you're looking for a non-dairy option, the almond milk might be okay. I just don't think it's optimal. Okay, and then the coconut milk has 2 teaspoons of sugar per serving, and it also has a preservative in it that we're not fond of. And then it also has several gums, like the xanthan gum, gellan gum, and something else. And so, you're looking for something with minimal ingredients, and heavy cream is just cream that's been pasteurized or ultra pasteurized. Okay, so now if you do some other options on your own, like if you get your own coffee there and you want to add your own little bit of stevia to it, there's this company called New Naturals that has a chocolate syrup, a maple syrup, a vanilla syrup that's sweetened with stevia. I think it might have some sugar alcohols like xylitol or erythritol. I think that's perfectly fine. And then we also have a whole video where we went over all our non-dairy options, such as Better Half and So Delicious and Nut Pods. Those are some really good ones. And I'd even be fine with your own personal raw local honey. Okay, so even though that's not optimal first part of the day, honey interacts in the body a little bit different from other sugars. But the problem with the honey, if they offer it at Starbucks, is it's just a low quality and pasteurized honey, and so it's not optimal, right? So to bring all that back again, ideally you're making your own coffee at home. But if I'm going to order at Starbucks, I'm going to get just a regular plain coffee. I like it diluted, so I order tall in a venti cup, and then I add a little bit of heavy cream. And then any of the heavy cream type option, you could also do, by the way, the cold brews, nitro brews, because that's just coffee, and you can add a little bit of heavy cream to that. But then beyond that, anything that's made with cream, like the flat white, the cappuccinos, and the lattes, just request that they be made with heavy cream, because remember, heavy cream is going to be more beneficial than half and half in milk because it has less problematic factors and it has all the benefits that we're looking for from dairy, such as the fat soluble nutrients and the medium chain triglycerides. And then I would avoid the syrups. I would avoid the coconut milk, almond milk. If you have to have something, you could do that, but I don't think it's optimal. And then of course you can spice it up with your own stuff. Okay, I hope that's useful, and thank you for the questions. Keep sending them our way because we love them.